I'm also part of an iFALCON FIG, to put another advertisement for it, if you will. I don't know if all of you are in there. I'm in part of the New Ideas FIG, and and I've been part of FIGs for 2 or 3 years. I've lost count of how many. I need to slow down, I think, but because they're so exciting, it's very hard to say no to a FIG. So if you haven't been part of a FIG, please, please try it out. I highly recommend it. And in the math department, I've also had the advantage of teaching a math learning strategies course starting last spring. And the great thing about teaching that course was that at the same time, the iFALCON pilot project started. So I was able to coordinate the two. And I shouldn't say I started teaching the math learning strategies last spring. I have taught it before as well, but this is the first time that I have taught it as part of a learning community with another math instructor. And basically what we did, both of us taught a math course, pre-algebra, and we taught each other's students math learning strategies. Another thing that I would highly recommend, forming a learning community, and maybe forming a learning community with a learning strategies course. I know reading has them. I know there's many in many different areas, and I have learned a lot. Even though I have taught the math learning strategies, as you can see, I kind of think of it as a starting over process last semester when I started it with the learning community. So I would highly recommend to have a learning community, especially for developmental courses, with respect to the habits of mind and study skills in general. This I am going to be talking about the advanced habit of mind, and the activity that you have in front of you is the second iteration of the advanced activity that Manuel Lopez and I did last semester. And basically what we did every week, it's a 1-hour-a-week course, and what we did every week is we said, okay, let's see what we are going to do and how we're going to tie it into the habits of mind. And we got very excited with Bloom's taxonomy, and that being up on the iFALCON's website. And if you go to it, yeah, we saw it up there, we led our students to it and everything, and then we said, well, we want our students to have something written down. And even though we told them where it is and where they can go find it, I wanted to give them a piece of paper that they can then go home with. And what I basically did is I formatted it so it all fit on 2 pages, you know, trying to save some trees out there. So this is the information. The first 2 pages are the information that's up on the website, but we formatted so it fits on that one sheet. The second page came out of our first lesson on advance, and what we did is we went through all the steps, all the steps in Bloom's taxonomy, and we talked to our students about how the lesson of the day fit within that realm. Okay. And then we let them loose on it. We gave them the assignment of saying, well, now you try to do that. And we didn't get much back. So the second time around, when I used it this semester, I gave them that second sheet in class, and we went through, and they, based on what we did in class, they worked it as a homework assignment. Again, this was a long-term thing because we could do it through a learning strategies course. And these are students who are in pre-algebra, which also would be different than a 100-level course. So we went through it in class. They had to fill in about the lesson that I led them through of how the learning fit in each of the categories. The next day they came back and they discussed it as a group, and then we put it on the board and we put all the categories and examples from various things that fit in there. And then I asked them to do it at home for one topic. So the students, when they were brainstorming this at home and working in their groups, I wanted them to come up with different things. So that went through the whole half semester that we had gone through that. So for the assignment at home, I asked them to do one particular assignment. And as I've learned through all our faculty inquiry groups, we learn a lot more from our students' work than we do from assignments. So here is a sample This is 2 students' work. They're in the middle. They're not the worst, they're not the best, but you can see what they produced. And it was better. We got much more than we got the first time around. But just this morning, I was talking to Manuel, because this is very recent. Just this morning, I was talking to him. I said, we really want to concentrate on applying and analyzing with pre-algebra students. The creating, evaluating, a little bit with that, like give them an introduction, but I want them to be able to recognize what applying means and what analyzing means. So for next semester, for this group of students, unlike, for example, for my intermediate algebra students with whom I did this assignment last semester, and it worked very well. You know, because we had done a lot more of that, and they've had a lot more math classes to go through and understand what all that means. So for next semester, we already said, you know, in our next meeting we have to talk about giving them questions, because one of the issues was they couldn't come up with the questions. So if they can't come up with the questions, how will they come up with the answers? So that will be the next iteration of this assignment, if you will. And for now, I would say this is a good assignment for elementary and intermediate algebra students and higher level students. For the Math 20 and Math 40 students, we need to break it down further. They need a lot more scaffolding, even though this has been already scaffolded from the first iteration. So one of the things that I obviously learned is scaffolding, on the side of too much scaffolding versus too little for the developmental students. So one of the things that Manuel has done this semester is his assignment, because we realized that there's an issue with the higher levels, he wanted his students to go interview a math instructor and learn about how we have questions that go towards the analyzing, evaluating, and creating. So that's the assignment he gave, and here is the student work for that. So those are also 2, not the best, not the worst, but somewhere, I would say, in the B range for this assignment, if you were looking at that. And again, it's a process, as David said, it's a process. Every semester something changes, and because in the mathematics department we teach everything from elementary level arithmetic, and I mean elementary school arithmetic through, of course, calculus, the assignment has various levels as well. One thing I wanted to add to this is that in adapting these assignments, we are fortunate that we've also had a Title V grant over the past semester for our developmental courses, and what we have is a Math Gateways website, which houses a lot of the original activities that the math faculty came up with through this. And among them, I happen to be the webmaster for this, and now Moshe Nigdel has joined me, and we have an intern this semester as well. So under original activities, we also have a study skills tab, and there is Manuel's assignment for this semester, learning the higher levels and using Bloom's taxonomy to advance also is in there. So both assignments are there as PDF files. Of course, we have these as Word files, and if anybody would like them, we'll be happy to share that. And we hope that there will be more of these activities. And I love David's idea, and I hope that those get to a website where all of us can access it. We have been talking about linking to the math versions of these activities from iFALCON, so I hope that we see more of that from other departments. How you can get to this right now, from the Cerritos homepage, there's a link to it from the math department page. So under M, you go to math department, and there is the Math Gateways Grant Resource site. So when you click on that, right now it comes straight to here because I've already logged in, but because the faculty resources are all of it is protected by password for now, the student resources we're doing a pilot in the spring, Moshe Nigdel and I. But basically what comes up is the dialog box for logging on to Windows. And you have to put your email in there and then your password, and you're in, and you can go throughout the website. So that's it. Thank you very much.